Well, welcome everyone. This program is being presented to you by the Texas Tech University Ethics Center. I am Ralph Ferguson, the Managing Director of the Ethics Center. And what I'd like to do is invite the administrator that put the program together to come forward and speak about our guest speaker and outline to you what the program is going to involve. Thank you. Ms. Laura Lopez.
Our speaker today is Mr. Eric Sanchez. He is the Chief Executive Officer for the Alcohol and Drug Abuse Council for the Concho Valley and has served in this capacity for over 14 years. Prior to joining the ADACCV, he spent over 12 years in the criminal justice system as a Dallas County juvenile probation officer and over 10 years as an adult probation officer for the Concho Valley Community Supervision and Corrections Department, where he served in various positions, including the administrator for the Treatment Alternatives to Incarceration Program. Eric Sanchez.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for being here, and thank you for taking time out of your lunch period to be here today. And we're going to talk about addiction and alcoholism. The PowerPoint is going to be specifically about alcoholism. But I want to preface that by saying that alcoholism is an addiction. Alcohol is a drug, even though in our society, in our culture, it's legal in our country. But it is a drug. It affects people in different ways. Some people become addicted to it, some people don't. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about that and how it affects everyone. But we're also sort of unique in that not only do we have treatment programs, but we also have prevention programs in our community that we provide. And I believe last year we served about 12,000 students and several thousand adults in our prevention programs. And it's really unique because most of our counterparts throughout the state, they either do treatment or they do prevention, usually not both. So we're a really busy small agency that serves the 16-county area around San Angelo. It's called the Concho Valley. It's really not a valley. I don't know why they call it the Concho Valley, but that's what they call us. And but it is 16 counties. It's about 16,000 square miles, and we're really busy there. Our treatment programs can take anyone from the state of Texas, so it doesn't matter if they're here from Lubbock or Hereford. We get a lot of folks from Hereford and Amarillo. One of the things that attracts people from around the state is the Women's and Children's Program. And the big question that we get asked all the time is, how long should treatment be? How long should it last? Maybe that's one of those issues that 20 years ago was a little bit different. The answer would be a little bit different. What we try to do now is avoid a specific length of stay, because every individual is going to be different. Every individual is going to have their own needs. We have men that come in that may have been assaulted sexually as a child, and they have some deep-rooted problems they need to work through. We may have women that suffered child molestation as well. We may have folks that are dealing with grief, and that's a real heavy issue when you're dealing with grief. We have parents that have lost children, people that have lost loved ones, and as I mentioned earlier, the attraction to taking something so that you can feel better is so strong, so part of our culture. And one of the messages that I wanted to bring today, before we get into the PowerPoint, is that we don't have to fall into that. We asked some of our staff and some of our clients the other day to finish the sentence. And the sentence was, addiction is like, and then finish the sentence. And some of the responses we got were pretty eye-opening. And remember, as I'm talking about addiction, I'm also talking about alcoholism. So some of them said it's like playing Russian roulette. Some others have said you're boarding a train headed for nowhere, skydiving without a parachute and landing on rocks. And these are people that are in recovery. These are people that have gone through it. It's like driving a race car blindfolded. And then they went on to say that it's not only driving blindfolded, but it's putting your family and your friends, those closest to you, on that street that you're driving on blindfolded and hitting them. It really is like intentionally poisoning yourself. Like you're just intentionally poisoning yourself and introducing a slow death. It's going to torture you. It's going to torture your feelings. It's going to torture your faith, your love, your trust. It's going to torture those closest to you until you die or until you're in prison. Yes. Okay, is this you? 19% of college students between the ages of 18 and 24 met the criteria for alcohol abuse. However, only 5% of these college students sought treatment. What exactly does alcohol do inside the brain? You asked that earlier. What are the effects of alcohol on the body? And what are the consequences to consider? All right, well, here we go. Alcohol is known to lower and slow the activity in your brain. That's a sober brain, and you can see where the introduction of alcohol is just slowing the activity, almost to nothing, which is why you have things to think about. Here's Joey. Alcohol impairs brain functionality, we all know that. Alcohol slows down the neurological process, we know that. Alcohol dehydrates your brain, that's not good, that can't be good. And your brain shrinks when it's dehydrated. Your body is a wonderland. Here's a picture of a healthy liver, that's what it should look like. Ready for the grill, just kidding. And there's a cirrhosis of the liver. That's what it looks like, and they can't function anymore. Of course, your liver is there to break down toxins, and it's trying to get rid of the alcohol. It breaks down and filters out toxins at a rate of alcohol, at a rate of 1 ounce per hour. 1 ounce per hour. Sweating, gets rid of by sweating, cortisol down to releasing toxins. When you urinate, what if you have more than 1 ounce of alcohol per hour? Well, you're in trouble. That's when problems start to occur. Are you a binger? Are you binge drinking? You can be honest. Okay, men, if you drink 5 or more standard drinks in 2 hours in one sitting, that's binge drinking. So how often does that occur? Women drinking, sorry, I don't know why it's different, but 4 or more standard drinks in 2 hours is considered binge drinking. Consequences to think about. Things I already thought about. All right, you become sexually impaired. Awkward, I know, but that happens. Alcoholic liver disease, pancreatitis, obesity, cardiovascular disease, nausea, headache, fatigue. Okay, I like that music. Psychological consequences. Alcoholic dementia, losing the ability to reason and function. Korsakoff syndrome, known as wet brain. Short-term memory loss, inability to walk or stand properly. And these are these long-term, very serious alcoholics. That's why you see that. Facts you should hear. Almost 2,000 college students between 18 and 24 die from alcohol-related unintentional injuries. That's a lot of students, including motor vehicle crashes. Almost 700,000 students between 18 and 24 are assaulted by another student who has been drinking. That's a big number, guys. And almost 100,000 students between 18 and 24 report experiencing alcohol-related sexual assault or date rape. Happens all the time. Facts you should hear. About 1 in 4 college students report academic consequences from drinking. That happens a lot. Nearly 88,000 people die from alcohol-related causes. We have an issue you need to look at. Okay. We want to watch this video.
I started doing drugs I told myself I would never do.
Sniffing drugs like ketamine.
10 to 12 bags of
Heroin,
cocaine,
crystal meth,
speedballs.
you name it, I had it.
I was stealing money from my parents on a daily basis.
Or my friends would steal from their parents and we would share it.
I struggled with what mode do I go in? Do I do tough love?
I was losing my brother.
There was nothing in his eyes anymore.
How did it make me feel? I mean, I could say I'm still angry at Nikki in a way.
People don't want to talk about it so that it doesn't exist, but it does.
I was terrified. I think through fear, I probably did a lot of damage.
I would just lie in bed and wonder, is she going to be alive in the morning?
By around 9:30, 10 in the morning, I was blacked out.
And I get immediately
get a DUI, and they gave me an ankle monitor.
I did 30 days time in the Tijuana jail.
And then I sat in this little booth, a little glass room, and then my sister came in an orange suit, and I was like, why are you here? Why am I here? Is this real?
I was pale, my eyes were completely shot, and I was probably about 110 pounds soaking wet.
Completely walking death.
He and my mother came to the conclusion that I couldn't live there anymore.
She was living in boxes on the side of the railroad tracks.
When you're young, you think you're immortal.
No one thinks that that it's gonna happen to them. And it does.
On Mother's Day, 11 o'clock, my doorbell rang. It was a detective, and unfortunately, he told me your son passed away.
August 11th, 2009, I got a phone call. I don't know if you heard, but Nikki died last night.
And I just threw the phone and started screaming.
It was sort of surreal, like, I have lost 3 people, my best friend,
Family,
My brother, my twin brother.
My sister,
my father,
My grandfather.
My son Luis
my son.
and my daughter.
So many people.
Why me? Why do I get another shot at this? Emotionally, I had hit a bottom, finally.
Mom, put me in a hospital, I need help.
My dad actually is in recovery as well.
My brother is in recovery and I'm in recovery.
3 of my siblings.
Myself.
My nephew.
Yeah, it definitely is an epidemic.
It's out there. It's not just you. I'm not alone.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
And don't judge yourself.
Talk to your children.
You have to take action or you do become part of the problem.
Everybody used to ask me, where'd your sister go? And I would say, to rehab, and they would ask me why. And I would say, for life.
It's a real miracle.
I think about other people that don't see a light at the end of that tunnel, and I want them to know that there is.
The day that I got sober is by far the most amazing day of my life.
I finally had enough, and I committed to recovery and getting sober. So.
Well, congratulations, that's an incredible story.
Thank you.
You've got that resource list that we passed out. It's designed around Lubbock and this community and what's available here. The Raiders Assistance Program is here. I've called it, they're ready to help. Please use it. If we can help in any way, if I can help in any way, you have my information. It's on the pamphlet out in front. We have business cards here. Please call us. And don't forget that everyone is affected by the abuse and the addiction of drugs and alcohol. Everyone is, either directly or indirectly. And whenever you look at the newspaper and you see a story about a burglary or robbery, child abuse, neglect, family violence, burglaries, more than likely they're drug related. More than likely there's some alcohol abuse going on, especially family violence. And it's all interconnected. So you can do something about it. You can make a difference, starting with your own life, starting with your family, starting with expressing and sharing your values with your family and your friends, those closest to you, and you can make a difference. So help me say, it's hi, how are you, not how high are you. Ready? It's hi, how are you, not how high are you. All right, thank you. I'm done. Oh, okay.